tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shark Tank After Show here on not Fox, but ABC. Well, this is actually AFTERBUZZ TV.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe over on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. If you prefer audio versions of the show, there's iTunes, there's SoundCloud, and whatever else you prefer.
Anything.
We're there.
All of it.
This is the only camshaft.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cameron Lewis, here with Phil Svitek on Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right, and Steph C is at the Super Bowl, and we've got the Super Bowl-esque music playing because there's no greater time for an entrepreneur than the Super Bowl, because this is when the big bucks happen.
I didn't realize you were a Super Bowl person, Phil, but now my instinct tells me that you're really excited.
You know what? I'm excited for the entrepreneurs today, and on that, we will actually cheers our Super Bowl beers today.
There it is.
And we will drink to that because today, billions of dollars will be made or not made.
You know, I wasn't too happy with the first pitch on this show, just because of the name.
Victoria's Kitchen. Kind of risque because it's like, wait, is that a spinoff of Victoria's Secret?
Right, yeah.
What are we doing here?
That's kind of what I thought too. And I don't know.
It doesn't tell me water.
Not a fan. No, I think, okay, this is going to be a bag of flour or some kind of cookie thing that we saw last week.
Exactly.
Not freaking almond water.
Yeah.
It should be called Victoria's Almond Water or something. Like, that's not that complicated.
Although, I give him... You know what?
It's like they're trying to remake Mrs. Butterworth's, but with a kitchen, and it's almond water. Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. What was interesting, though, was for the first time that I can remember, we were kind of basing a deal on the international market more. Because there was a big thing in Europe rather than the U.S. Yes, they had they had sales in the U.S. through Whole Foods and all that, but the popularity really stemmed from Europe.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that almond water was a thing, because I went through the first 10 minutes of this pitch, or 5 minutes, or whatever, half of it was, and I was thinking, like, I was hearing them say almond water, but I was thinking coconut water. Mm-hmm. And so when they said almond water, I was like, is that actually, people drink that? I didn't know that was a thing. Because coconut water is like, okay, you're refreshing, it's hydrating, whatever. I don't really know, is there any... They never really answered that. Is there any health benefits to this beverage?
There is, in the sense that they went over, it's gluten-free, it's got no GMOs, it's got no this.
It's got vegan. Nothing in it. Like, it literally has nothing in it.
It's 100 calories. They do have an almond and coconut version.
An almond and coconut, and later they pulled out the lemonade with pressed ginger.
I was really surprised about this one because we've heard worse pitches. Yeah. And we've had worse sales. Yeah. And this, again, their knock was they kind of... Kevin said it best, though. Every shark here has a beverage deal, and the hardest thing is shelf space, and that sucks. Yeah. And, but, 160,000, 330 the second year in sales, and they dipped down... So, because they lost their SKU, and that accounted for $40K. But overall, not a failing product by any means, and on the up and up.
No. I mean, they have decent sales. I wasn't expecting them to say that they had, what was it? You said 160,000 the first year, 330 in the second. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, we've been making them in our garage, family recipe. Victoria's been in the kitchen, slaving away, and we've sold them to the neighbors, garage sales, whatever. But I was not expecting the first year, let alone the second year, to be that high. And it always makes me, it kind of makes me wonder, like, would the sales have been better if when people pass it and it says something other than Victoria's Kitchen, would that have affected it? I think it would have.
Yeah.
I think they would have had a little bump in the sales if the name was a little bit more clear. Now, did you agree with Mark specifically? Did they sound desperate?
Towards the end, yes.
I think maybe a little bit, yeah.
Because, you know, he was like, he almost ployed them in the sense of like, hey, we should do this something. Yes, okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We don't have to lose all the sugar if you don't want to lose all the sugar.
Right.
We'll keep some of the sugar.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Just make a decision.
You guys want a Skittles flavor in there? Yeah, we'll add Skittles, whatever you want. Yeah. I kind of got that too. They seemed like a great couple. Like, again, they invested everything they have.
They did. Speaking to the flavor thing too, right? It's because it's like the idea of this is, you know, it's a story we've all heard. My grandmother made these; they're the best. Blah blah. The notion with that though is you have to stand firm by the product and be like, hey, this is the recipe that's been passed on generation from generation. Yeah. Not you want Skittles? We'll add Skittles.
Yeah, that's like Grandma's turning over in her grave. I'm assuming that she's passed. If not, Victoria, lovely product. But it's like, yeah, I agree with you, because it's like the family recipe. You don't deviate from it for the most part.
Yeah.
You can cut back on like, okay, we're going to use a different type of sugar we can get cheaper, but not, let's add beer flavor to it or something.
So that's kind of my knock on it in that sense, and why you shouldn't be so market happy, so to speak.
And what were they looking for? $200K for 20%. What do you think? Would you have gone in on this one?
I would have said 200. Well, Barbara says you're asking for way too little. Yeah. And so I agree, actually. You know, so, and I think maybe, I don't know the full value, what you needed to go in, maybe 500,000, I think. But in that case, you would at least be giving up 60% of your company.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they'd want to do. So I would go 200,000 for 35%, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know that I would have gone in. I was agreeing with Kevin and with Barbara a lot, in the sense that the beverage industry.
Me personally, I would not do this deal because I don't care about. I don't want to do this type of stuff.
No, I mean, and you try going up against people like, I mean, even Coca-Cola owns a lot of these different companies like Vitamin Water, and they own like Zyco coconut water and all these things. So it's really, they dominate the shelves. You getting in there somehow, I don't know, it doesn't look pretty for you.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of kitchen you have, Victoria, it's just not going to happen. So they got no deal. Yeah, passed it up.
They passed it up. I mean, I thought someone would take them up on it, but no.
Negative.
Oh, well. The green box. This was interesting.
Yeah, I again with the name, I get it, but I don't know that I would have gone with something a little kitschier.
Versatile pizza box.
Yeah, I don't know, something like not your average box. Something, I don't know. Jen and Ben, no, that was kind of nice, little alliteration there.
It kind of goes to show a couple of things. You know, you can't really judge people right off the bat. I mean, going into Shark Tank, they're going to be nervous.
Yeah, that was great. I loved that they kept that in there.
That was the fact that she's like, all right, let me try this. Let me take over.
Yeah.
I'm Ben and Jen. Yeah. Let's start again.
Well, it's great because, I mean, none of the sharks were really, like, upset by that, you know? And we've all been there in that moment where it's, you know, you have everything so well rehearsed and you're going to go with it. And you could do it perfectly. And then something happens. A light flickers, you know, the AC turns on. Something happens and you're thrown off. And then you're just like, where was I even starting? So I'm glad they kept that in because it kind of humanizes the moment a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, for the most part, they didn't get destroyed. Like, had it been like a product that just then it would have just been like, okay, you kept it in just to be mean to the people that are pitching. But this was okay. You know what? They had a good product. I understand the point of Kevin. I like when Kevin educates, even when it's from a place of anger.
Yeah.
So you know, bean counters are bean counters, man. They stick to the bottom line, and if it doesn't help sell pizza, you know, they're not interested.
I mean, that was a great point. It's like, yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's a good product. I don't know that, you know, like the lid of this thing comes off and you split it into 4 plates. I don't know if that was actually that impressive to me, because I feel like that's not a problem that needs to be solved. People always have paper towels or paper plates, or they just eat it in their hand. Like, nobody really has a problem of where do I put this slice of pizza. The thing that was attractive was the box tearing in half and becoming smaller for storage of the leftover pizza. I thought that was great.
Yeah, because I always store the full box.
But yeah, right.
With like one slice.
With 2 slices in it, right. But again, like you were saying with Kevin, I think that was a great moment, because at the end of the day, no matter how good the product is, if it doesn't push the overall product more and cost less, then there's no point in having it. And I also agree with Barbara on this one. It's really hard, even if you run ad campaigns, it's really hard to sell to the consumer what this box does. It's hard to even see that this box is different than a pizza box. You know,
you have to do it in such a way where it's part of a overall rebranding, restructuring. For example,
right.
I, honest to God, love Domino's because of, and this isn't a plug, by the way, I'm not collecting royalties or anything like that. So I would like to. So if there's a deal that's going to come out of this, let me know. But Domino's, for the longest time, I hated, right?
Yeah.
And living in LA, there's not that many great pizzas. Certainly not cheap ones and whatever else.
Yeah, there's pizza places, but it's like these big terrible box ones, they're so cheap. It's like, how can you even? Yeah. Come on.
So, and then I think it was 3 years ago, Domino's literally aired a commercial. Hey, our pizza sucked. You said it sucked. We know it sucks.
Yeah.
Now we've made it good.
Yeah.
And they have.
They did.
And you know what? I actually, you know, for what I'm getting, for the price that I'm getting, I actually enjoy their pizzas a lot. So much so that I will be having some for my Super Bowl
today,
parties.
actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, but that's a nice kind of rebranding. And so, as part of it, you know, you wouldn't need a company like that to come in and be like, hey, listen, we're totally rechanging things the way we've been doing them. And not only is the pizza better and different, but guess what? We're conscious of everything, including the boxes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
No,
but
yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know what other company, like Domino's already did it, so they're not going to say like, "Hey, we just
we're not going to do this again. We did it 6 months ago." Yeah.
Pizza Hut's not going to do it. What is it, Steven? Write me a letter or something. What do you got? Or speaking to your mic. Steven's in the booth.
Steven in the booth.
I thought that was the hint.
No. Steven's supposed to be picking up my Domino's pizza, but that wasn't. That just happened to actually tie in.
You know what this made me think of though, which is, you know, like 12 packs of soda.
Yes.
Before, years ago, the 12-pack came in almost like a square-ish box, and at some point, somebody invented the long skinny box that we have now that goes into the fridge easy.
The fridge pack.
You pull the triangle off the front there and then just roll down. Somebody invented that. Somebody made a better box, and they probably had the same conversation that these guys were having about the pizza box. Yeah, it's potentially better for the consumer, but who cares? We're still selling a lot of soda. So this has the potential to be that, I think. It's like, how do you get there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's quite apples to apples, but, you know, absolutely. And you know what? I think ultimately it was a good deal with Kevin, you know, contingent upon, because it's one of those deals. Hey, it's either going to be a great deal or we're going to find out if this sucks.
Right.
And so we're going to go to one of the big pizza makers, and we're going to do it or not.
Yeah,
and if we don't, you lost nothing.
I think Kevin was definitely the way to go on this one.
Yeah.
10% versus 30%. First of all, and second of all, I just think he's the guy who says, hey, I know that we're going to get to a point where this is either going to work or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's just that.
And we're going to find out together.
That's it. Green
right.
box.
Green box. Get your green box. All right. Tycoon real estate. Sounds like a roller coaster tycoon.
This guy.
Oh my God. Mark, I'm out.
That was great, and that was exactly what I was feeling.
Yeah.
This type of thing, it's like it's even if it's not sketchy, even if it's not sketchy, even if the guy is totally, and he probably is totally genuine in his intent, and I think this would be great. People can get in, and they can be real estate investors at a low cost to them, and even though they know nothing about the business, but just the overall nature of this type of company freaks me out. And I would have done the same thing that Mark did.
Well, he couldn't even explain to Rob how it works on a single-based model. And, you know, I love... Kevin kept going in after Barbara because she is the real estate type. She is the real deal real estate tycoon.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't going to fly by her, it was going to fly by nobody. And she said that, you know, it comes down to the lead investor. And, you know, if I can't trust the company to pick the lead investor, I can't get behind it.
Right. And it's also a dangerous thing to, in my opinion, to invest with people you have no idea who they are. You don't know who they are. You don't know who's leading the thing. It's a little sketchy. It seems like a triangle, a pyramid scheme. You know, even though it's probably not. It just has that vibe, you know? And the guy even said at the end, you know, I'm not trying to gig anybody or whatever, but I don't know, dude. It seems weird. And the name is horrible.
Well, the name is horrible, but I also loved, again, Kevin had a lot of good education in a sense.
He did.
And he said, you know, that people trust him because for his capital and whatever else, because he always puts in his own capital as well. And so, yeah, guess what? These guys are just this is like Kickstarter or whatever else. They're just gaining a percentage. Mm-hmm. But unlike Kickstarter, this is way different. Mm-hmm. You know, and so because the allure here, like Kickstarter and crowdfunding other things. You know, you're putting in money to something that you know you're not there to get something out of it in terms of an investment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, you're putting money to a film project, let's say like Veronica Mars. Yeah, you'll get a DVD, maybe a T-shirt, but you're not really expecting much else. Right. You're not expecting like, hey, you know what? Let me put my $1,000 of my savings into this and see how it grows in a couple of years.
Yeah, you go into it knowing this is a passion of mine. I love Superfan. I'm going to donate $100, and I'll get to see a movie, and that'll be cool. I'll get to say I was a part of it.
Exactly. And so this is not that. And I never knew about real estate investment trusts. They're not sexy. Yeah. Listen, when it comes to money, I don't need sexy. Money is sexy enough.
Yeah, you know what's sexy is money that multiplies. Yeah. That's sexy. Yeah, I don't... This guy, Aaron, I don't know what it was, and I could be just like super judgmental of this guy or whatever. He was just rubbing me the wrong way the entire time I'm watching this pitch. I'm like, dude, did you do
jail time? No, I've never done any jail. Like, but it's a good question to ask, especially in this circumstance.
Oh man, no deal. At the end, Kevin offers him. He says, "Listen, 50 for 50, 50,000 for 50%. Like you said, I'm investing my own money. So if I invest my own money, I'm going to care about it. We're going to rebrand this thing. My name." It's going to be different. Tycoon out the door. And the guy says, I won't take any less than 10%.
That was the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Especially when it's so new. It's like, it's so new. You can have Kevin O'Leary come in. Yeah. Make this thing happen. 50%. Hey, 50% of something great is better than no percent of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You messed up. And I think he didn't take it. Here's the thing. I mean, Kevin's deal... Actually, like, it's one of those things, like, this could have blown up, people would have trusted it, and then at that point, you just sit back, enjoy, and enjoy cash flow.
Right.
But now, you're going to have a hard time getting off the ground, you're going to have many people talk about this way, and guess what? Eventually, you will get slopped with a lawsuit.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's a real big danger of that in this.
And more importantly, guess what? I just found out a neat little fact.
Get ready, AfterBuzz.
Get ready.
Here it comes.
AfterBuzz history. No, especially these types of businesses, and especially when you do make a lot of money, you get audited a crap ton, right?
Yeah, sure.
And if you're in that kind of income bracket, and you know, as let's say you're as this company, you can get audited as many times as once a year, sometimes 4 times a year.
Yeah,
trust me, there's a lot of audits, right? And each time you get audited, it costs you $15,000. So good luck.
I'm not okay with that.
What's that?
I'm not okay with that. What the hell?
So good luck
What the hell?
By the way, just that fact that that's going to cost you tons, right? But you know you're going to get audited tons because of a shady business like this. And guess what?
Right.
If you are running a shady business, you will, trust me, they're not going to come down lightly on you. But just even the fact that, you know, you're always going to have to be dealing with these bills of getting audited because that's on you.
Yeah, and by the way, that's when everything's potentially going well.
Exactly.
That's like when everything's going well and people are having an overall good experience. The IRS is still up your butt about it because it's kind of a weird setup.
Yeah.
So if things go south somehow, they're really going to be on you. And you're going to have all kinds of legal issues with the people who invested, and you have 12,000 investors. And by the way, I like the part of this pitch where you said we field tested this with 2 properties. One of them was part of a house. Part of a house for $100,000.
What'd you put on a TV?
What does that mean? Did you add like a deck on the back or something? Like what did you do? I don't know. So that by the way, that was like, wow, I'm like so far out the door at that point.
But like part of it is I don't understand, like, okay, so let's say Cam and Phil live together. We want, you know, to your point, we want a nice little patio.
Little patio.
What is this, like Craigslist? We put, or Kickstarter. Hey, you know what, Tycoon? We're trying to raise $35,000. People, please invest so we can build a patio.
Who wants to invest in our patio? It's going to be great for outdoor parties, Super Bowl Sunday. Come on out.
Yeah, like,
what the hell?
What are we doing?
I don't know. It's Tycoon. Blah.
I think it's a ripoff. No offense.
I do too. I absolutely think it's a ripoff. And again, the guy probably has great intentions. I don't necessarily doubt that.
I'm sure he has a great intentions to make a lot of money.
It's like he's also probably a crazy person because this idea is a little whack. Anyways,
it's a get-rich-quick scheme.
The next pitch of this episode, Phil.
The next pitch is
the one I'm most passionate about.
Phone soap?
Phone soap.
Why are you so passionate about this? Is your phone always in need of soap?
I got a real bad bug from my phone. No. The phone soap, by the way, the name, another name, soap. It's not soap. That bothers me. I understand it's you know, it cleans your phone, whatever. But that bothers me. It's phone soap, but it's not liquid. It's not soap. It should be phone doctor, phone blah, blah. I don't know. Phone doctor is terrible also. But something, I don't know. Something a little bit better. Wes and Dan, though, bringing this product in. And their whole pitch is your phone has, what is it, 16, 18 times the amount of bacteria than a public toilet. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
And they're going to use UV light in this device to get rid of that bacteria. Is this a problem, Phil?
You know what? I would prefer some sort of wipe.
And why is that?
Because it's easier to me.
Yeah. Because you don't have to, first of all, plug this thing into somewhere. Second of all, sit your phone in it for 5-10 minutes. And it's also big as hell. It's bulky looking.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't travel with it. I mean, it's not something you can pop out like one of those little stick phone chargers that you plug into your phone. And a couple people brought that up. I think Mark. But again, I don't really buy into the, you can't use hand sanitizer because it wipes the coating off of your phone.
I use the little wipes.
That's what I do. Out of the thing, you pull the thing, it's like a little Lysol wipe, but it's meant for phones. Why? This is not needed. Nobody needs this to happen.
No. And I did, the part of it that I did like, I liked the battle between Mark and Lori.
Yeah. You don't know. You don't know what I do.
You just build it up as part of your entourage of products, which is true. That's what she does. I mean, right. Her QVC, like that's an entourage of products.
Right, which, by the way, isn't she the shark in the tank that has made the most money or the most profit off of her products? She has a lot of like the reader rest and you know what I'm seeing all over the place is I forget what it's called now, but that little thing that saves stuff from falling in between your car seat.
Yes,
that was her too.
That's a good. I mean, she has a lot of these products that aren't big deals, but that just make
big money. Yeah,
have a constant cash flow.
Yeah, the quantity is there,
and so it's one of those things you have to quantity versus quality, and I think Mark prefers quantity.
Yeah,
which isn't bad. I mean, but here's at the end of the day too, you have to look at it. Mark worth $1 billion. With a B.
Lori, with a B.
One of the more, unfortunately, on the lower end of the scale. I think we did the math. She's worth around 50 million.
50, yeah.
So,
I was surprised because they had such, really good sales numbers. Really good sales numbers
for 5 months. I mean, they've been going at this for 535,000.
Yeah, and I think that alone, and again, that's a big factor, but I think that alone, above all else, is what kept everybody interested.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I didn't really see anybody buying into this one. If the sales weren't there, I think everybody would have been out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you, man. The wipes, I don't see a problem. What did you think about the commercial aspect of this? When they started talking about hospitals and schools, do you think that's actually a viable thing? Is that something that would be incorporated?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think especially in hospitals and schools, you would have to donate these to... Here's the problem. Hospitals and schools especially, have no money, right?
Right.
And so the thing is, you'd have to get grants, and you'd have to find the money from government places to be able to do this.
Right.
And going back to the pizza box, if I'm a government bean counter and I say, okay, I understand this is a problem, can't we just have wipes for people's phones?
Right.
We already... Right, I'm looking at the numbers. We spend, this hospital spends $25 million in hand wipes alone, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we stick to that number and people will just wipe their phones with that?
Right. Yeah, I completely agree.
Rather than, okay, now I got to make a separate whole budget and put taxpayer money towards it. And again, there's some private hospitals and schools that could probably do it, but...
Sure, but the other thing that factors into that is the cost of changing the infrastructure. So you have to train people like, okay, this is now the policy. Somebody before they go in this room has to put their phone in here and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, God. So that just kind of tosses everything out, too, I think.
Hospital would be, procedure-wise, hospital's way more complicated than a school.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you educate the teachers, and that's easier, certainly.
Yeah.
So,
but they got a deal, man.
They got a deal for 10%.
Got a deal. 3 bidders, Kevin, Mark, and Lori, and they went with Lori, 10%. What'd you think about that?
Good deal for them.
We'll go now. If you say 10%, we'll go now. Make a deal now, 10%.
I mean, hey, it's certainly more than they were willing to give up, but I think it was a fair thing for Lori, and she walked away, and I think she'll see profit from it.
Yeah, and contrary to what Mark was saying, I do think Lori was the one to go with in this one. I mean, the commercial aspect of the schools and hospitals is a good idea. I'd like to think that would work out, but really
yeah, you don't want to change your model.
Yeah, I think the retail
is working, at least for now, and it's only going to explode once Lori gets her hands on it, and so why not?
Plus, you see this thing all over Sky Mall. It'll be all over Sky Mall. Brookstone on every shelf.
Absolutely. All right, so that's Shark Tank.
That's it.
That's your Super Bowl edition of Shark Tank. We will have episodes this Tuesday and Friday. That doesn't mean we're doing them this Tuesday and Friday. We, of course, will kind of lump those 2 episodes together. And so, and that about does it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, keep the conversation going. You are the only Cam Shaft.
That's me, the only Cam Shaft on Twitter and Instagram. Use that hashtag ABTV Shark Tank.
That's
Let us know what you thought. Had somebody tweet us last week saying they bought a Lumio.
Yeah.
Which was great.
What did they think?
They loved it, and I want one. I still want one so bad.
It's like a perfect Valentine's Day gift.
It's so good.
I could go so many places with this, but I'll keep it PG-13.
Phil Svitek.
Follow us here on AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And hey, let us know what products you're buying from the Shark Tank. There's definitely some really good ones. It's always great when you see a product, you're like, I could use that in my everyday life.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's when you know a product is good.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll see you here next time for Shark Tank.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.